Hey everybody, it's Chris Kelly from The Flying Nest, and today you're joining me for a roundtable tea session with a group of my friends regarding immunity health in children.
Then I can.
Yeah. So what we were talking about when I was with Chris the last time was that when there's so much stresses nowadays for even young kids with homework and sports and tournaments, and they're saying, I got Noah, who's only 13, but even last year he was 12 with the homework. I mean, he was up some nights till 11 o'clock, and then he's playing football or he's playing basketball, and then they have their long weekends, and then they have with some kind of tournament, and then snacks. We talked about snacks. What did they get? The kids put out so much energy on the weekends. They maybe are nervous, so that's one thing that depletes the immune system. All the exercise that they're doing, and then they eat sugar with the drinks and the candy and then the chips that they give in between the games, so they're not getting the right nutrition. And then sometimes, a few days after the tournament, your kid ends up with, some kind of cold or fever or something because they haven't had
emotional up is the down.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So then we were talking about, what do you do? What's the first thing that you do? And I said, well, some people will, go to the doctor. They used to give antibiotics for things like that almost immediately. Mm-hmm. Instead of saying to the parent, your kid needs to rest. What do we all know now? That sleeping is really important. So if your child hasn't had enough rest, then, the immune system is going to, slow down and not be as functional as it usually is. Mm-hmm. So you say, okay, you're not feeling well, keep them out of the sports for a couple days. Stay home from school one day. Instead of giving them some type of allopathic medication to put them back in school, which isn't really, it's a Band-Aid of actually what's the problem. They're not having enough sleep, the nutrition hasn't been good. So you want to say, slow down. And we all need to slow down. I mean, even in our daily lives, we have to remember on those weekends where we're exhausted, slow down, read a book, have a nice bowl of soup, and recharge your battery. So, I mean, I've found that with the kids, that's always a good thing to remember.
Right. So I think after the big weekend, or anytime you have a big emotional test or anything, it's bathtub. At our house, it's bathtubs. Yeah. I know at your house, it's bathtubs.
It's bathtubs too. At my house, yeah.
And I think that not only the bathtub itself is relaxing at any time, we automatically relax as soon as you get in water, but putting salt in the bathtub can help just detox all the pores and have you have a little sweat and clear out stuff you got on the skin from hanging out with all the people or whatever. And then maybe a little lavender or a little rose, just a very little bit, just to settle the emotional vibration. Yeah. And lighting a candle with my kids, even if they're little or from a big kid lighting a candle, they love that whole process of lighting the candle, getting to blow it out. It just slows us down so much. So I think that's a great way to get my kids to recognize that this is a place and time that we have to be different than we were yesterday or 2 days before. It's also something I tell clients to do when they travel. I have a bathtub with some salt and a drop of lavender when you get to where you're going when you get home.
That's such great advice, actually.
Well, the key thing also we were talking about is when you think about it, think ahead of time. So like when my child ends up at 9 o'clock at night saying, my ear hurts, they hardly have any earaches, but when it comes on, and it comes on big, you want to have your ear oil, you want to have your homeopathic remedies, you want to have some things on hand so that when it usually comes on is at nighttime, when everything starts to slow down, that kind of stuff seems to come up. So you want to have your homeopathic, like I said, all your different remedies that you're going to use. Whether it's chest rub or different kind of things, you want to have those on hand so you're not so that you're not going to have to try to find a store that's open to even get the things at that hour. Is keeping, like you're doing, having kits at home so you're prepared when something happens. And the homeopathic remedies, I mean, the expiration dates on those are so long.
And the other is
herbs, and the herbs, all that kind of stuff. I know. 3-4 years.
Pass it on to your great grandchildren.
I mean, and then you're going to have it's worth it. The times that it's happened to me to have it on hand. If I went, oh my gosh, I don't have ear oil. Yeah. And then I'm stuck up all night with crying child until I can go get it in the morning. I've always made sure I had it on hand. And it's worth $15 to have it on hand, and every 4 years I have 5 years to buy a new one because
and what are remedies? Remedies are what? $7, $6,
$5 or $10.
Yeah.
I mean, really, it's so cheap comparing it to a copay at the doctor, which is what, 20 to $40. I guess it depends on your insurance.
Yeah.
And if you don't have insurance, then you're paying, $100
Yeah.
for a visit,
Yeah.
when it could be eliminated just by giving a remedy.
Yeah.
I think another good thing we're doing right now is tea. So my teenager who's now in college, she told me she really misses that we don't have our cup of tea together after all the other kids have gone to bed and dad's gone to bed, and we would sit down and have a cup of tea and that kind of thing. And I just think, having some teas, especially when you're sick, special teas in the kit that your parents send you, when you're over it. It's so
I
great.
think my kids love tea. I mean, when they are sick, the number one thing they ask for is tea.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Ginger,
what I-
honey, lemon.
Peppermint.
It's one of
Yeah.
our favorites.
Chamomile, yeah, all the
Ginger.
things.
Ginger.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's great for the throat things. It's great for colds. It's great for the flu. Tea solves everything.
And then
Solves the world's problems.
Haven't we solved all the world's problems right here
there.
at our
At
isn't
tea
it-
tables,
How
yeah,
many
tea
cups of
time.
tea? What's Greg Mortenson's book? It's 2 cups of tea or 3 cups of tea?
3 cups,
3 cups of
of
tea.
tea.
See?
It's about what it takes to
3
figure
cups
it all
of
out.
tea.
Yes.
3 cups of tea.
I think that another important point, though, too, is a lot of times we approach our children's sickness just thinking about the physical aspect instead of looking at the emotional side to it. And I know sometimes that when their immune systems get challenged by the surrounding viruses or whatever, that it's a way for them to ask for extra nurturing from us. And touch is always such an important part to that, and they always request that. Can you rub my feet?
Yeah.
Can you touch my head? Can you put some chest rub on my chest? And just that simple doing of putting your hands on your children and massaging them is so healing. We forget it's such a simple thing, but when they're asking to be nurtured in that way, we can give so much to their spirits and their emotions. Yeah.
I think a lot of women and a lot of mothers really feel they want the permission to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Don't you think? I find that a lot of women are so incredibly busy right now, and they have their cell phone attached to their head. Just a minute, hold on just a minute. I mean, I've even been guilty of that, but to put the cell phone down and notice where they're at in their life and plan for that maybe, sporting event on the weekend and kind of know what it's going to take out of them and prepare for that at night, I think it can really turn things around in terms of them possibly getting sick from it or being run down from it. I think all of that's important.